Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Toto.
And welcome to Film Busters.
El Caprese.
Filmbusters.
You know, Paul would be the village idiot.
Yes,
I would be.
This is my podcast. This is my podcast. Everyone get out of it.
I'm glad you understand whose podcast it is, though.
But only at night time. Me and Adam run the show by the day. You come along and claim it when everyone else is gone. When me and Adam have hung up the mics. But that's true.
We do all the hard work, and then he comes and sweeps up the shit after us.
That is true, though. He does have to sweep up all our shit.
Yes, you should praise me now. Give me the
It's
praise.
true. Everyone plays their part, and Paul's is the shit sweeper.
I got to sweep out all the shit that Adam sings, says, and just his presence on the podcast, really. Just got to tidy it up a bit.
I was very quiet last week.
Oh, Adam, why did you be so silent?
I don't know. I think I had a headache. I was just letting you two guys talk.
I knew something was up with you. I've had many listeners get in touch with us, asking why you were so quiet in that last episode.
Did they?
Aww.
Yes. I'm not going to name their names, but they were very concerned for your health and safety.
But it's the Adam show today. It's his birthday episode.
Oh,
Well,
shit!
yeah.
This is birthday episode. Yeah, this is the Adam episode.
Well, it was not my birthday today.
It was
It
yesterday.
was my birthday.
It was
my
yesterday. It's your film
Oh.
choice, and it's your closest to the birthday episode.
Yes.
It's not
I'll
close
have
to any
my
of our
nap.
birthdays. It's close to
I've
your
had an
birthday.
afternoon nap. I'm ready to go.
Oh,
How-
fantastic.
What lovely present did you get on your birthday? Tell us the presents.
I've got a record player.
Ooh.
Fantastic.
Which vinyls you got again? Say again.
So I've got a Beatles album, the blue one.
Yes.
Story, Morning Glory, Joshua Tree, and then I bought an album by Jungle.
Oh, Jungle. Interesting. You know, would you buy vinyls based on... This is the preamble. Would you buy vinyls based on how the vinyl looks or how much you like the album?
Well, it depends. I think it's got to be a bit of both. It's got to
Yeah,
look
it has,
good,
it
and
has.
then
That sweet spot.
like might be some albums that aren't great, but if it looks cool, I'd be like, okay, now I'll get that. But yeah, if an album's good, I'll get it.
I got Led Zeppelin 3, which is one of their lesser well-liked albums, even though it's got Immigrant Song on. But that album itself is wicked because it's got like a little spinning disc on the right-hand side, and you flick it, and it keeps changing the art on the front. It's very interesting.
A spinning disc.
I mean, all of
almost like a child thing.
my albums are in a rack at the moment, so they're not on display.
Make sure you get a little cover for each of them because dust will get into those sleeves otherwise. Get a cover for every single one and dust will get in.
Yeah,
otherwise.
do you get the little sleeves they come in?
Yeah, if they send you that, nice.
Anyway, this isn't Music Busters.
I want to talk about the one final Music Buster thing because it's the only chance to talk about Music Buster.
Go on.
I got the Moonshaped Pool vinyl, Radiohead's last album, and at the time I ordered the limited edition, and it comes bound in some of their recording tape from their OK Computer recording sessions. So all of the reams and reams and reams of audio that they did, I think it amounts to something like 0.8 of a second, and it could be anything. Like you can take it somewhere and get it played.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It could be literally like a bit from Karma Police, or it could be like, Dead Air when it was recording and they left the studio.
I bet it's Tom York going, eh.
That would be nice. That would be the best you could ask for.
What are you going to do with it?
Well, it binds the vinyl. It wraps around the vinyl to hold the vinyl book in place, but you can easily undo it. I'll send you a picture afterwards. Very nice.
Do you reckon anyone's
Yes.
ever cut it to get it open?
Oh yes. Some people would be desperate to know what they've got, and even if they hear it, they'll be like, "Fuck, I don't know what that is." You wouldn't. You probably wouldn't. You'd have to be such a massive movie buff. 0.8 of a second. A music buff, sorry. 0.8 of a second.
Yeah.
Should we talk on for our love of cinema this time instead of love of music?
Yes, let me introduce what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about Cinema Paradiso. This is
Are you
Adam's
playing that
choice.
nice music at the moment, by the way?
Yes,
Are we
I
listening
will
to
be.
that lovely music?
Yes,
Oh.
of
Yeah, by
course
the
it
old,
will be.
what's his name? Morricone score, isn't it?
Yes, it's playing as we speak.
Beautiful. This is the most beautiful. Let's be silent for 5 seconds in respect of it and hear
Okay.
it. For Ennio.
Did you hear those beautiful notes?
I made a sign of the cross on my forehead.
Oh shit!
What, we
Are we
doing
going
more
to
science
keep
fiction?
talking again now?
Yes,
No,
it's
no, I
Karen
wanted to
speaking.
break it.
We are talking about Cinema Paradiso. It is Adam's choice this
Yes.
episode. It's very exciting. We're going to talk about this because Adam and Ben have been very excited to speak about this,
Yes.
and so am I, of course. But
Little backstory, should I tell the listeners
Go on
how it's
then.
all come about?
go
They
on.
didn't make it to the end of our last podcast because I wasn't talking too much. They probably turned off. Ben bought it for me for my birthday, and I've never seen it before. And he was like, "Oh, you've got to watch it. You've got to watch it." So I thought, let's watch it. Do a podcast about it. Ben went to the cinema to see it recently before the cinema shut down. But yes, we'll go into more detail in a bit. Then I take it. But first, it's a staple of every episode. It's the quiz.
He's trying to take my
Yes.
job. He's trying to take my job.
He is. He's trying to run you out.
I've never got to say that before, so I thought I'd get it in.
Very nice. You did a very
If-
good job.
Paul, if you own the square, Adam's the priest cutting bits out. No, ringing his bell.
This is my square.
Because Adam's always like, this is too long. Cut that out. Let's move on to this. He is the priest.
It's just you two kissing in the background.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you now know very well, we are coming to the final stages of our quiz for 2020. Myself, Paul and Adam are very tight after last week's episode. I believe that I'm right in saying that the scores are drawn between myself and Paul on 20 points and Adam is on 19 points, which means with 2 questions today, everything could change. Adam could take the lead for the first time. But I've picked a couple of questions which I don't think are too hard, but they do require a bit of movie knowledge. It's general movie knowledge I'm asking from both of you here.
Okay.
It's not specific to Cinema Paradiso, but it is specific to the art form itself. Are you ready for your questions?
Okay.
All right. Now then. Cinema Paradiso won the award for Best Foreign Language Film at the 1990 Academy Awards. I'll give both of you a chance. Can either of you name one of the 5 nominees that were up for
shit.
Best Picture that year?
Best picture, yeah? Or
Yeah,
best
best-
foreign film?
No, best picture, best film.
Shit.
Oh, fucking
You
hell,
only
I
get
don't
one
know.
chance, so don't think. You can have a think for a minute, and this
Alright,
is
I'm gonna go for it.
1990.
Dog
You
Day
sh-
Afternoon.
And Adam,
I can't,
Goodfellas.
I can't remember when that film came out.
I'm afraid you should have both taken a little bit of time.
Is Goodfellas 91 then? Because it's about 90, I think.
When
Yeah,
did
I
Dog Day
think-
Afternoon come out? Probably way
Dog Day
before
Afternoon,
that.
I feel, is the 70s, mate.
Is it?
I might be wrong, but I think it is. Hang on,
Probably.
Dog Day Afternoon.
It's 75.
Yeah. And Goodfellas, I feel, is like 90 or 91.
Yeah, I feel like it
It is.
the only
Well, it
film I
was
can think in
made.
my head.
You were close, Adam. It was made in 90, but it therefore qualified for the 91 Academy Awards.
Yeah.
It really confused me how long ago things were.
Since I'm feeling generous, and since neither of you got points, I'm going to let both of you have one more go each. Because it is a bit... The films, they're knowable, but it does require a little bit of thought. So I'm going to let you both have one more go.
See, that's the thing I don't know. That was my guess.
You've got to think about a film that probably was released late 80s. You're looking at 88, 89 kind of release film to be in the 1990 Academy Awards.
Okay, let me think.
Was
about
Cinema
this.
Paradiso one? Was it literally...
Cinema Paradiso won for Best Foreign Film.
Yeah, but did it not get... Well, nominated
No,
Best Picture as
no.
well?
I swear Parasite
Fuck.
was the first foreign film to also win for thingy, or be nominated for Best Film.
We're at Roma, surely, because everyone loved that film.
Not us. So this a reminder.
I can't think
Can
of
you
any
name-
films that even came out in the 80s.
You two outrageous. We're hosting a film podcast. You can't chuck me any film that might have been up for Best Picture.
Shawshank
at 1990.
Redemption.
That was 94.
Yeah, that's early 90s.
Oh,
Shawshank
fuck.
is not the one. Come on, Adam. You may as well chuck out a film name. Don't just give up.
Silence of the Lambs.
But both close, but no cigar. Here are the 5 options you could have had. That takes me to 21 again, by the way, everyone. Here's
Well
the
done.
5 options you could have had. Dead Poets Society.
Mm-hmm.
Born on the 4th of July.
Never seen.
Very good film. Field of Dreams.
Never seen.
Never seen. Oh, Paul, you would love Field of Dreams. You
Good
would
to know.
love Field of Dreams. You particularly. My Left Foot with Daniel Day-Lewis, of course.
Never seen.
Really? And finally, I've never seen this one. The winner that year, Driving Miss Daisy.
Never seen.
Check that out. How many of those 5 have you seen, Adam?
I've seen Field of Dreams and what's the... that was
Dead
it,
Poets
I think.
Society.
That's the only one I have seen.
I don't think I've seen Dead Poets.
I don't think it's very good.
I always think of Robin Williams' speech in that about his wife.
No, that's... I always get these two confused.
Oh, is that
That's
Good Will
Thingy.
Hunting?
Good Will Hunting.
Oh, yeah.
I always get them confused.
That is Good Will Hunting, yes. That is correct. That is Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, I think Good Will Hunting. I don't think I've seen Dead Poets.
Yeah, Dead Poets Society is not all that. I don't.
They jump
think.
on the table or something.
Yeah, Captain My Captain and all of that. All right, well, I know that was a bit tough. Sorry, boys. But anyway, we're going to move on, and I take
That's a
that
good
point.
question. My brain hurts, but it's a good question.
That was good.
That's all right.
That was good.
All right. So, on the day that Toto finds out his father has died in the war, what movie poster does he walk past that brings a smile to his face?
Gone with the Wind.
Woo-hoo-hoo! He got it.
I was going to say Casablanca.
He
See,
got
that is
it.
exactly the other film I was going to say, Paul. In my head, I was like, shit, is it Gone with the Wind or Casablanca? Is it Gone with the Wind or And I just thought it's Gone with the Wind.
Well done.
We are keeping things tight up top again because I'm on 21. Paul and Adam neck and neck on 20.
Tight
We
like
are
a
keeping
tiger.
this Tight. It is very tight like a tiger. Wow. Well done.
Well done.
Are tigers renowned for being tight?
I don't know why Goldmember says that.
I don't know. I like it though.
I
It
like
just sounds
yeah.
good. It just works.
Yes, it's very tight. We like that. That was
Schmock
good.
and a pancake.
Well done, boys. You already kind of set the scene for fucking Cinema Paradiso. Let me just say before Adam does a rubbish plot summary that I did something very naughty in the last episode. For those listeners who listened to the end, when Adam said he was going to do Cinema Paradiso, I said, you definitely will give it a 9 or a 10. You definitely will give it a 9 or a 10. And I shouldn't have done that because it's almost like drilling a nail into you, saying you have to think this way. So I apologise if I put too much pressure on you, Adam. And I would very much hear, if it isn't a 9 or a 10, don't feel like you have to say 9 or a 10, because I would hear your complaints with it too. Because it goes without saying what my score is, but we discussed that afterwards. So
Yes.
the reason I bought it for him as well is because this boy has Italian blood in him, and I know that he loves the movie, so I'm very surprised that he hadn't seen a film which was a love letter to cinema with these Italian origins.
Yes.
Should we roll that theme tune?
Let's roll that theme tune.
Roll it.
The main event. Here is our featured topic, plus Adam might do a rubbish plot summary.
Are you fucking serious?
Right, everyone. Today we are talking about the 1988 film Cinema Paradiso, directed by Giuseppe Tornatore. This is Adam's choice. It is a spoiler episode. We will be talking spoilers straight away, no non-spoilers. But first of all, Adam, you have to do a beautiful Italian plot summary.
Oh, I'm not going to do it in Italian. My Italian
Yeah, do it in an Italian accent.
Bro, my Italian's not that good. I'm not going to do Italian accent. We get banned.
Say one word in Italian somewhere in the review.
All right.
You better.
So this film is about a man who finds out that his best friend through his childhood, who was a cinema projectionist, has died, and it leads him to rethink his roots and his time growing up in Italy. I believe it's in Sicily, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yes. And his time growing up in his little village where the cinema was the hub of everything, and his love of cinema grew from there, and he's gone on to become a filmmaker in his later life. Yes, and it's about him just going back through his years and realising how great cinema is, and all the stuff, life lessons it teaches you.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Bella.
See how quiet you got there at the end? He was whispering. Life
Yeah, I know. I always run out of words to say, and I've just got to add
life
stuff
lessons.
Who's going to go in what order, Adam?
on. I'm going to let you go last.
Okay.
I'm going to go first, and then Paul.
Go on then.
I have never seen this film before. Ben recommended it to me and he bought it for me. Yeah, I knew of it, and it's always kind of one of those films that's always around the top 100 lists and all that kind of thing. But yeah, and didn't really know much more than that. I kind of knew obviously about cinema and how nice cinema is. I think my mum has mentioned it to me a couple of times as well. I have to say I agree with everybody putting it on those lists. It is brilliant. It's just a lovely film. I don't know. I can't think I've got a negative thing to say about it in some ways. It didn't blow my socks off in every single way, but it's beautiful to the core. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 because I can't find any faults with it. But yeah, it's
Didn't blow the
it's
socks
great.
off though.
I know, you
shed
said it
a
didn't
tear.
blow the socks off.
It's a weird one. I'll describe it later on, maybe. When
Wait a
we're-
minute, did you say you shed a tear?
Yeah.
Oh, victory,
Oh,
sweet victory.
At the very end, that ending
Yes.
is beautiful, man. When he's Well, we'll get to the ending later on. But yeah, it was just lovely. I put it this way: last year on my birthday, on my actual day of my birthday, I watched The Irishman. I went to cinema and saw The Irishman, and this year I've seen this film for the first time.
Shit.
And they're both films I've given 10 out of 10 subsequently.
Not at the
since.
time, mate. You gave Irishman a 9 out of 10.
I did give The Irishman a 9, but it's now later grown up to a 10.
Look at
So-
that.
Big steps for next year. What I'm going to put in there.
This is a 10.
Yes.
It's a 10. So
It's a
surely
10.
surely your socks at least fell off when you were crying.
Oh, yes. But I'm saying it doesn't do it... Okay, we'll get into it later on, but
All right.
it's a bad choice of words I used maybe to describe what I was trying to get across.
Didn't blow them off. How do one's socks blow off?
I don't know where that
You're
saying
so
came from.
excited, you jump out of the air, I don't know.
Do you reckon like when someone's getting like in the electric chair, their socks blow off or something?
I'm Googling it. The phrase was originally documented in the American South in the 1940s, where the phrase referred to beating somebody in a fight, similar to knock his
Okay.
block off. What?
Is that the American equivalent of that?
Blew my socks off. Someone
Yeah,
beat
to
me
not-
up.
to-
You got beaten
to-
up.
No, because to knock someone's socks off means to surprise somebody by showing or providing them something really impressive. And it came from, like, in a fight, bang, bang, oh shit, knocked my socks off. So, like, yeah, if
Okay.
it knocks your socks off, it's, like, really impressive. Like, battered you.
They need to
how
get
good it
better
was.
fitting socks.
It's true, my socks have never slipped off, not
No,
once.
never, never.
maybe my ankle socks from time to time.
Anyway, let's hear from Paul.
Okay, here's my turn. A bit of backstory. I have seen this film. It was a very long time ago. I was a very young boy. I can't remember when it was. But I couldn't remember anything about it. Nothing at all. And when I went into it this time, I was like, oh yes, I remember all of this. I do remember all of this. And I don't know why I never remembered it, but this time, you know, it blew my socks off. It fills my heart with so much joy to see all those townsfolk as a community rejoicing in their love of cinema. It's a beautiful thing. It's something that I feel is kind of gone now, especially now with COVID anyway. But even before, you can sometimes like get a sense of togetherness at like special screenings with like a kind of a following. But it's almost like just get in and get out now. You've seen the film. But Cinema Paradiso means like everything to these people in this town. And it's like an intrinsic part of their lives. And it's like their church. The priest is there and it's their church. It's like the cinema is like alive. And it's almost like life starts in the cinema for everyone. It's like you get people falling in love. There's sex there. There's babies breastfeeding, and there's people dying. Someone getting shot.
I know,
randomly.
man, brutal.
Yes. And cinema is part of us all, and the film only goes to prove that. It's beautiful. It's sweet, and although it did not bring me to tears like it did Adam, I had major goosebumps at the end through all those final scenes. But it does have some drawbacks, which I will talk about, and it's a 9 out of 10.
Oh, how could you
boy.
tease like that?
I thought it was going to get a 10. I thought this was going to get 10 across the
I
board.
thought we were all going to do the triple tens there. That's such a tease, man.
Oh no, I don't know what that means for it. That could mean it's the top film because this is the same scores as Whiplash.
Oh,
Well, it
we get
depends
to
what Ben
that.
thinks of it, doesn't it?
We'll
Let's
get
not
to
give away
that.
Ben's
Yes.
score.
Well, motherfucker, you know that I'm a 10 out of 10 with this bad boy. This film, I first saw it as a free DVD. I think it was the first foreign film I ever saw. I saw it when I was like 16, I think. And I got it as a free DVD with some newspaper. And I put it on not really knowing what to expect. And by the end of it, my first time watch, I was in like tears, goosebumps, tears. I felt the whole shebang. It was so fucking moving. and then I've watched it subsequent times between then and now, including recently for the first time in a cinema right before lockdown took place, which was very fitting. Everything that you two have said, you've already said it, and I just echo all of that. The absolute love of cinema, and also that sense of community and belonging, and of a time, of like a golden time that everyone can relate to in life, cinema or not, where everything just seemed kind of imperfectly perfect. You know, there were lots of things to complain about, but also it was a magic moment in our lives, and it's that feeling of nostalgia by the time it gets to the end, which is what gets me emotionally. Like when you see everyone in their old age, when you look back at the places and remember what happened there, everyone has that in their own lives. Everyone just does that constantly. We're always thinking back and thinking of times, and this is the only film that has ever been able to capture that emotional state you get into with nostalgia. And the fact that it's linked into cinema, I mean, whoa boy, of course the three of us would rate it high as fuck, because for film lovers this then gets amplified. I think if you're not a film lover, you would still think this is an incredible film and you would be won over by the emotion. But I think as people who love film, it's lifted altogether by the whole experience of filmmaking, everything that you see going on in the cinema. And as all of us, I think, would agree, films and cinema represent life beyond what you see in those 2-3 hours. And Cinema Paradiso is not just that fucking cinema. The Cinema Paradiso is that town, and the films in the cinema represent all of the stories inside and outside of that town. And I just love Toto and Alfredo's relationship. I think it's one of the sweetest things on screen ever. And that little boy, it's hard to get child actors that are so cute and fucking brilliant, and he is stunning. Anyway, 10 out of 10, and I'm very happy that we all loves it. And I'm glad that you have a 9, so we have some things to talk about. But I also suspected that we might all love it, so I have some talking points on it.
Lovely. I have a couple too.
Okay.
Just before we carry on, when did you get this film in the newspaper?
Like, I don't know. It was like I say, 15, 16. I was 16, so it was 2002.
Because you have made me like almost like jump back in time and think, did I actually get that in the newspaper?
I believe it was on something ridiculous like the Evening Standard or something. And it came in a little cardboard disc holder, and I had it in the cardboard disc holder for years and years.
That sounds so fucking familiar. I feel like that might be the way I watched it.
Maybe it was.
And
I remember it was before
uni. So if you were 15,
for sure.
16, I would be like 12.
Well, how old were you
like
in 2002? 12, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
I
That's
think
how
it was
young I was,
definitely the
mate.
first foreign film I saw. I don't think I would have had, because I hadn't gone to film uni yet, so I don't think I would have really watched any foreign films. So, Adam, right? The reason that I bought it for you, I outlined was, yes, a little bit because of the Italian connection, which I thought would make you like it, but also because of I don't know, I feel like I got a pretty good grip on what you would like and what you wouldn't like, and I would be stunned if you didn't. Did it take you a while to fall in love with this film, or were you with it from the off?
I was with it from the off, man. I was quite surprised with it. So I thought originally, like, okay, you kind of know a little bit of the backstory before it, like, not a lot. I thought it would just literally just be about a guy talking about his love for cinema. But the fact that then it went past that, it just went on to his life and like how this man and the relationship they built up through this, and like the life lessons he was giving on to this kid, and just all these little things that just stemmed from meeting here.
Yeah.
It was just brilliant. And it also, like, I was just, first of all, I was just amazed watching him become the projectionist, just like the way Alfredo was just making this machine work and putting all the hard time and effort into it. And
Cheeky boy, wasn't he?
yes, he was a very cheeky boy.
That's why we love him. He was a cheeky scamp.
He was.
Yes.
A bit like probably what Adam was like when he was a kid. I could believe he was the cheeky scamp.
I was never as smart as that kid was when he was doing his little pranks. He was always up to something else.
Adam was the kid getting his head bashed against the whiteboard for getting the sums wrong in slow motion by his ear.
5 times 5 is Christmas.
Christmas, yeah. That joke is a bit silly, but it kind of works in the context.
It's funny. Yeah, I was on board from the beginning. It's just,
Oh, good
it's just
stuff.
great. But also, I want to clarify my whole blow the socks off. It doesn't do anything special. It's just a beautiful film at the core. It's not relying on anything big and showy. It's just a beautiful film made with you film. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not like
I know it's nothing.
There's
grand
not almost
and
like
spectacular that takes
a
place.
special like almost you can't distinguish a big moment from the film. It's just constantly the whole way through. You're just in awe of it, and it's just great filmmaking.
It is very beautiful.
If that's a way of saying it, I don't know. I'm trying to get something across here, and I'm not really know how to.
No, I know, I do. I know what you're saying. It's like it's a feeling. It's a feeling overall, rather than like something that suddenly happens and you go, "Oh wow!"
It's not like a grandiose kind of event that happens. It kind of the film wraps itself around. It kind of does with when the projectionist blows up. What do you call it? A
projection
projector.
booth?
A projector.
Yeah,
projector.
That's it. I was thinking, what is it called?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That was a moment. It's just like that's almost a moment where you're just like you're bringing so much happiness to these people.
Yes,
everything's going so well, and it is like,
It's beautiful, isn't it? The way that the projection's like going around the room, and it's like, it's going to go outside in a minute.
And he's saying, isn't it? He says something like, I don't know, he's quoting a movie, but he says, "Now we move beyond these walls," and it's like that's the power of film, man. That is film.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is why we do what we do. It's the
I just
joy.
loved seeing people in the cinema, like everyone's just sitting on the floor and like,
yes,
it's just people packed in just to enjoy that one moment. And like when he said it, he said like, it makes it all worth it when the room is full, when everybody's laughing and you feel like you're the one making them laugh.
Who said that? Alfredo.
Yeah. He said you have to watch the film 100 times, but sometimes the cinema is packed and everyone's laughing, and you feel like you're the one who's made them laugh.
I feel like if I'd been born a few decades earlier, that would have been a job I would have loved to have had. I don't mind watching the same fucking film over and over again. I know it's lonely work, but I'm cool with sitting in a dark room by myself with my job. I'm fine with that.
Rating all those films on Letterboxd in your booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the 1970s.
Your film rating score would have been destroyed, man. Do you mean you've seen a film 100 times? It came out last week.
And you know what you're saying about like no huge standout moment. It's captured in Morricone's soundtrack because that soundtrack, it isn't like Terminator 2 with da 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 or any like iconic bit of music which just has a few syllables, jaws, anything like that goes bang,
notes.
boom, now you know it. Cinema Paradiso is so beautifully sentimental, and it just like it kind of flows throughout the whole film, and it like wraps itself around you. It's like
You almost don't even notice it after a while.
Oh yeah,
It's just there. It's just part of like, yeah.
the more you hear it, the more sentimental it becomes. And then, we won't talk about the ending now, but when it plays at the ending, like 80% of the emotion in that is because of the music that's accompanying it. I think it's one of the most beautiful endings ever.
But
But we'll talk about that later.
It's almost like the nostalgia of the song from this film we just watched plays in that ending. It kind of brings it all back to you, doesn't it? All the emotion of the whole film. Beautiful shit.
It is like forced nostalgia, yeah, because you're hearing it when he's a child, and then you're hearing it again as that old man watching those clips. It is like, here it is, that feeling's still there. Who you are is who you are. So without going like throughout the plot entirely, like the key things to talk about, I think, are like just focusing in on some of the characters, perhaps.
Yeah.
You already said nice things about Toto, the cheeky scamp. Were you disappointed that we had to lose Toto like an hour into the like teenage Toto?
This is where I say that it didn't blow me away in all senses, because it felt like that whole section with the little boy was contained. It was all the cinema stuff, all the community in the cinema, and then after that, it wasn't really that anymore because they opened the new cinema, and that's where it felt like the old age had died, and this is kind of the new age, and this is the older version of him, and that's where it kind of just turned into like a love story of this guy trying to chase this girl. I didn't feel like, although you had this beautiful relationship between the now blind projectionist, it wasn't the same. It didn't feel the same. I love that. That first section was perfection. but I didn't have the same feelings for that second part. Although I did enjoy it because it's a whole package, but it just didn't have that same magic that the first part did.
I feel like, maybe it's because the magic of being a kid, seeing it through the kid's eyes is gone, and you're now seeing it through a teenage eyes, and life is changing, isn't it? So you have to move on with different elements of your life are starting to get in the way. I feel, but it's just a representation of what that is. I don't feel like they just did a good job of representing his life through the cinema. I wouldn't say it was a bad thing that they did that. I mean, if they carried on the magic of cinema, looking at it through a kid's eyes when he's a teenager, I thought that might have been a bit not as good.
Well, when he hits those teenage years, you're right, Paul. It corresponds with like the revamping of the cinema, and the cinema itself loses a little of its kind of innocence. Like you say, people get killed there. The kids are masturbating. There's a prostitute operating out the back of it. People are fucking, so it's all gone a little bit seedy. Yeah, but then that boy has grown as well. Just like with all things in life, our nostalgic memories up to the age of 10, for the most part, are very sweet and innocent. But then our nostalgic memories when we're teenagers, most of them are like risque moments and stuff like that, and love, whether it's proper love or not. It's relationships, and I can see why you might say this section is why it gets the 9, actually, because I do remember a while back when I first watched it not really buying the relationship between the two of them and thinking, this just feels like you say, a typical love story. But now I think it's meant to be that way because it works as part of the film and the sort of typical romantic interest that you would find in a film. It kind of crosses that boundary of a film that is having those moments cut out, and now he's having this in his life, and it then leads to further discussions about whether or not that really is the love that gets spoken about, or if it is exactly like that teenage nostalgic moment where you think you're in love, you're with someone, but it's maybe a bit of lust, but also when you're that age, sometimes you do think you found the right person for life.
Yeah, of
and
course.
Then you're not. So I kind of accepted it a little bit more. And I do think that teen is good. It's big boots to fill. Who could ever fill young Toto's boots?
Yes, 100%. It's very... I like that explanation, actually. The fact that the innocence has kind of been taken away. Because it's like the innocence of a child and now the innocence of
it makes sense. Like they
whole
cut the
cinema.
bits of love out and now...
Yeah. I love that scene where they're all watching the film and then they see the dirty parts of the film and they're all like, oh my God, they all get so excited.
For the first time. And that's because the church has been removed of it. Standing up, get rid of the church and everything gets better.
Yeah.
Yes. It does remind me a lot of what my granddad told me growing up in Italy, how the church was very much in control of everything. And
getting involved.
You can just see little bits of what he talks about just in that village. I mean, that village is kind of like where you grew up in Italy as well, and it's
where'd your granddad grow up?
He grew up in a place called, it's near just south of Rome. What's it called? Villa Latina.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like a little village. It's just in the mountains in the Abruzzo, where they say, yeah.
Your granddad must have seen this film, though.
I'd imagine so, yeah, at some point. But yeah, it's just that little way. Well, it's the way that Italy works. It's like that's how it was, and the church got involved with everything, and yeah, he wasn't too happy with the church in it as well.
The church is always.
They used to stop his dancing groups. He used to have a dancing group when he was 14. He used to teach all the girls in the neighbourhood. Him and his mate used to teach all the girls how to dance, and the church came and shut it down.
What scumbags they are!
Yes, they control the way you live. Although this priest is not a figure of hate in this film. He's kind of lovable, isn't he?
Yeah. He's lovable because I feel like they kind of make the idiot out of him.
Yes,
it's almost like like making religion idiotic. Like he's just this fool. Yeah. He's just fool. Like when he goes away on the train and he just turns up late and he's like, oh, I missed him, kind of thing. It's like, guy.
Does he really care?
It's almost like he thinks just like religion. He thinks he means more to him, like people, than he actually does. Because like religion, is not the be all and end all. you're not the king of this town, kind of thing.
Yeah. But he
Like, no one
thinks he
cares
is.
about
He
you.
thinks that
Yeah.
everyone really respects him when like you say, he's a laughing stock. It is funny when he's watching those scenes, man, and he's getting into the film, and then it gets a little bit dirty, and you can see he's
so
sort of
irate.
shifting. That bell's brilliant.
I love seeing his face through the curtain, though. He gets so excited when he sees all the scenes.
When Toto
When Toto
yeah,
sees
yeah.
the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just laughing away. Oh man, that kid's cute.
Cheeky little boy.
The other really funny scene with the priest is when Alfredo's got to distract him and he says he's losing his faith. The priest is like so fucking shocked. He's like, stop talking like this. Don't ever talk like this again.
This is one thing that they actually just noticed. Like, they never, like, Toto had a brother, didn't he, or a sister?
He had a little sister.
Yeah, and they kind of just forget about it for some part. I thought she died at one point in the coffin too, when he was leading the coffin. I thought,
Oh,
oh,
that'd be
fuck.
fucking dark.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, does that happen? But it obviously didn't. But yeah, they kind of just didn't really focus on her too much, did they? They just kind of...
They sort of glossed over. She was only
Yeah.
there to kind of say to the mum at the beginning, "Oh, don't worry, he's not going to call back," kind of thing. It's like just to basically make the mum feel like he's not going to call or something. That's
Yeah.
all she did.
That mum changed her tune by her old age. She was a right bitch to him when he was young.
Yeah, she just wants the best, doesn't she?
She was beating him in the street and all sorts just because he lost a few dollars.
Tough love.
Yeah,
tough
but money's
love.
tough, isn't it, probably?
And she also whipped him in that square really weirdly. She was standing totally still, but her arm was whacking like at length. Her arm was fully outstretched.
That's a professional. That's someone who's done that for years.
Yeah. Seasoned veteran.
She's probably very good with a slipper.
Do you know what I thought was quite sweet and sad was when she is old and he comes home for the first time and he's like, "Oh, it's okay. It's only an hour flight. I'm not that exhausted." And she's like, "Oh,
Don't tell me
please
that
don't say
now."
that. Don't tell
I
me
know.
that."
Oh,
it's like,
man.
oh. It's like,
I know.
Well,
Wait,
the little
but-
knitting was getting undone.
yeah, that was good.
What was that?
The knitting
When-
was getting undone as she was walking to the door.
Oh,
Yes. He was more important than the knitting.
yeah. He was. But again, that's like nostalgia, isn't it? Because she's made all that progress, and as she walks to the door, it's all unravelling. It's all going backwards. Like she's going backwards in time.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, I knew it would be Toto. I knew he'd come.
Beautiful Toto. Let's talk about Alfredo and his like significance for Toto in pushing this whole fucking plot forward.
Yeah, it's like his father figure, isn't it? Because he didn't have one.
Yeah,
And
he
he-
don't
he-
like Toto at first. It seems he's
No, he
screaming
does
at
not.
Toto.
Yeah, but you could imagine the kid was a little shit, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He's a little shit, but you kind of get warm to him when you get to know him. It's like a little bike scene where he kind of run him round, I think.
That's right. Saved him from the priest.
Yeah.
Yes.
The cinema, the film, like if he represents cinema and the priest obviously represents religion, then cinema saved him from religion.
If you look at
Very
it that
good.
way.
Because cinema opens the world up. I love how many shots there are with like Toto when he's with Alfredo in that booth. That could be like fucking iconic poster images. When he's holding up
Yeah.
the roll of film is great. That shot you said, Paul, when he's looking through the curtains, that shot is great. When he's like even just looking up at a big screen from the front row, so many perfect images of Toto capturing what makes film so fucking special.
Yeah. So him with the Alfredo with the big projector, and then Toto looking at the little film roll.
And then he says, "I'm going to keep all these. They're yours, but I'll keep them, and you can never visit them."
It's like this is the origin, and this is the finished product on the screen.
And did you like his superhuman strength, pulling Alfredo out from the booth, out of the cinema?
Oh yeah, drag him down the stairs. It was on like a metal staircase.
It was. I was thinking, like, that would be so awkward even for a human being to pull someone down.
He wasn't even blind. It's the stairs that blinded him. Smashing his face on the way down.
Oh, don't joke about poor Alfredo.
Oh, Alfredo.
So Alfredo goes blind. Our blessed Alfredo. We've taken him to his hearts because he's a lovable buffoon as well, because he needs to cheat off Toto for his idiot test. And he gets ink all over his hands and other such things.
Yeah.
I like Alfredo's story about waiting for 100 nights underneath the balcony.
All right, this is what I wanted to talk about. What do you think it means?
So I think it means personally that if someone would make you wait 100 nights, then they're not worth it, because if the dedication is there to get to 100 nights, then
You'd
it's
after
like
a while you'd give in and go, okay, they're doing it, but they don't actually need them to do all of it.
Yeah.
Yes. Similar, I think it's like, I will wait for you 99 nights. If you say 100 to me, I want you this much. I will do almost everything you asked of me, but then you got to at least meet me halfway and come out on the final night.
That's it.
I'll show you I won't come this far for you.
It is almost like a reflection of their relationship, I think, because she goes away, but it's like, are you going to come back? It's like you got to meet halfway. He's waiting her to come back, and she just never comes back. And it's like, was this love true? Have you just met someone else and it wasn't actually that real?
Are either of you boys aware of the director's cut?
So when I put in the Blu-ray you bought me had both versions in it.
And you played theatrical.
I watched the theatrical because I thought you two are going to watch the
Yes.
theatrical. So
how's it differ then?
So the director's cut, it embellishes on this romance. So when he comes back as an older man, he actually meets up with her again, and you find out that
this is a question I was going to ask.
Yeah.
And I would have quite liked to have seen that, maybe.
So I have seen it, and I think it's much better without.
Okay.
It works. It works as this cut. So he comes back. It kind of changes the interpretation of the film, really, because when he comes back as a man, he actually has sex with her in the car, like old man, old lady sex in the car in Sicily, and he finds her again. Did you notice in the credits, when it's doing the credits at the end, there's a shot of him as an old man and her as an old man looking at each other in the diner?
Two old men.
Woman.
She had a sex change.
The older woman.
Okay, no, yeah. So, what, does he literally just find her, meet her again, and then
He comes
fall in
back
love?
and he sees her. He sees her, the young girl, and then he finds out it's her daughter.
Oh.
So that's how he finds her. And then she says something like, I came back for you, I want you. So it's kind of, if you watch the director's cut, it's kind of saying, love waits, love is there. Whereas in this, I prefer we'll talk about it, the interpretation of this about what the significance of all those kissing scenes at the end is and everything like that. But yeah, I would not recommend watching the director's cut personally.
That doesn't sound good to me.
Yes, it didn't work for me.
If I watch the film again, I might watch that version just to see what it's like.
Give it a watch if you want. There's also like silly scenes added in the director's one, like when the guy has to ferry the film reel between two cinemas and he's cycling between two cinemas. He stops halfway along the way to have sex with a prostitute. And it's like, why is this even in here? This is no good.
No wonder you were getting irate, that guy.
I know. See, that's the thing. In this theatrical cut, it kind of is like, that she isn't the one. You may have thought she was the one, but she isn't.
I do like that sentiment more.
Yeah, me too. And it goes hand in hand with Alfredo's sentiment, which is, get out of here. The world is more than this town. You need to go and see the world.
Totally.
Because if it's like, well, she's love, she was his one true love, it's like Alfredo has told him the worst thing he could have possibly told him, which is run away from fucking love.
Yeah, and that means he's wasted his life going away. And Alfredo's like basically undone his life by saying go.
All right, well, let's talk about that then, because even as in this cut, in a way, we could argue that he might have done that. This is what I wanted to talk about, that maybe he did, because we see that his life is, based on what his mother said, and when we see him in the hotel room, he's clearly sleeping with a different woman every time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's this film director, great, in Rome, good, he's doing good for himself, but he hasn't got love, he hasn't got compassion in his life. So Alfredo has sent him out into the world in the hopes that he would find that, right? But he hasn't.
I would honestly say that all his love he ever had was in that town. It's like his love of cinema was there, his love of Alfredo, his mother.
I don't think Alfredo
him.
would have sent him away, and that's a bad thing because he never found that. He just sent him away to get out and make. He says like you need to grow on this love you've got of cinema. That's how I kind of looked at it. It's like if you get out, you make your own films. You find your own way to.
Yeah, that's
when he becomes a filmmaker.
Yeah, I'd understand if maybe he was like all he was really doing was shooting random things with a camera. I don't feel like there was a passion for filmmaking. I feel like the passion was for
but he's channeled
watching
his
the
love.
films.
I think he just changed direction of it.
I feel like they could have maybe embellished a bit more on his profession. Should have gone a different route with the filmmaking, and then that would have kind of made sense that he needed to get out of the town to progress with that.
I was kind of waiting for that maybe to happen, because obviously he's gone away at the beginning, so he's going to try and leave at some point. But also at the beginning of the film, when she said, "You haven't seen me in 30 years," I thought she was just gone a bit crazy and she was going a bit senile and just couldn't remember the last time he saw her.
Well, that's all Alfredo's fault, who said, "Get the fuck out, don't you
I
ever
agree
come
with
back."
him though. I'm kind of on Alfredo's side.
I do. I agree with it. I think it was very extreme. He delivered it in a very extreme way, because, like, Alfredo, you got a wife in that town, man. Your life's not that miserable. I know you're not happy with your job, but you have got a wife who loves you and is looking after you.
Yeah, but he kind of saw a different way for him. He kind of knew that this kid's got more. Like, he was saying, "I've been stupid to stick my job here, didn't he? A silly old man like me. This is what my luck is, to become this projectionist."
Well, I mean, look, it is a case of someone who has grown in the town like a father to this boy, being like, "I don't want this life for you. You deserve better than this." And then, while there is truth in Alfredo's words, and I think it was better for Toto to leave, it is when he returns, all that nostalgia that washes over him, all that emotion, isn't because he's like, "I never should have left." It's because he's looking back to a time where he was like, "Wow, that was my life. This happened to me," and to see how time has changed things, modernized things, to see some of the old faces as well, is like, this is the movement of life. This is how life is, and I could have been a part of this, like, sort of slow decay of this town, or I could have gotten out and made something of myself, and I have, but I've left a bit of myself here in this town. He left a bit of himself in Sicily, and maybe that was the heart, because, not talking to his mum for 30 years or seeing his mum for 30 years is very extreme.
Yeah.
And it is like he lost a bit of heart.
It's almost like he shouldn't have listened so literal to Alfredo. Like, never come back.
Yeah.
It's like, you can visit every once in a while, but just stay far away for most of the time.
But Alfredo said to him, you don't even visit. Don't send me a postcard. He says, if you turn up at my door, I won't answer it.
And the fact of the matter is, he said, was it his wife that he saw?
Yeah,
or was
he
it
saw
his
his
daughter?
wife. Toto saw Alfredo's wife.
Because I was a little bit confused when he came back, how everyone looked not old enough in the time difference kind of thing. But if that was his wife... Well, think how old Alfredo was. And then how many years had passed?
Well, between teen and him being there like 50, I guess we're talking 30 years.
So
now, Alfredo would have been like late 40s, early 50s.
So we're talking about... Okay, I guess so. But anyway, his wife said, Alfredo told me not to tell you that he died, like when he was going to die on his deathbed.
Yes.
But he'd made a film for him. So when was he supposed to get that?
He knew. That's the thing.
That he knew it was going to come back.
He knew that he would come back. Absolutely 100% he knew he would come back. And
but his wife said, don't come back. Don't tell him I'm dead.
He knew that he would. He fucking knew that Toto would find out. But it's interesting, though. I mean, that is interesting, yeah. Like, why be so determined not to have him come back, but you've made something for him? But it's almost like a failsafe. Like, I love this fucking kid. Of course, I need to leave something for him. I've kept all these reams of film for him since he was a boy in that projection booth with me. I said they were his and I would look after them, so I've kept them. And now I'm going to put them all together.
He's old enough to have them now.
Now's the time to talk about that. Now's the time to talk about that then, now that we've naturally got to that point.
Okay.
I would hear your interpretations of the ending. Go on, Adam.
So I'll talk about the bit before the ending first. So the bit when he looks at the cinema and he's walking around the cinema now. And in my head you're thinking, oh, he's going to save the cinema. He's going to come back and he's going to not destroy the cinema, he's going to rebuild the cinema. And everything's going to be happy again and people are going to fall in love with the cinema. But then it's kind of reality that, no, that's not going to happen, man. That car park's going up instead. I thought he was going to keep the lion's head at least. When you saw that on the floor.
Mount it on his wall.
Yeah.
That's a big thing to put in a suitcase back to Rome from Sicily.
You send it.
That's all his allowance in the suitcase.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of that reality that hit home. It's like, oh, okay, this is not life is moving on this way.
All right, let's talk about that. Sorry, before we get to the film scenes bit, all that stuff when he's watching the demolition and he's at the funeral, that is all so emotional.
Yeah.
Like how everyone's aged, how time has passed.
And there's just the kids playing the rubble. It's kind of almost like these kids don't really appreciate now what this thing was, and
yeah, exactly,
kind of
the
all those
significance.
messages.
Oh man. But that's life. I mean, it's just life. That's why it works so beautifully as a film. It's just that's the way life is. Life progresses. You can't stop it. There's no point trying to stop it. Things change. Things move on. Things die out.
Yeah. And then we talk about the ending of the reel. It's just beautiful, man. It's just it's like, because in your head I was thinking, what could it be? Like, I had no idea what it was. I was like, what could this be? Like, and then they put it on. And it's just like, after all those years, you knew.
Made sense.
Yeah.
Let me hear your interpretation of it. Interpretation of the what? Why? What was it saying? All of those clips of the kisses. Why was it so special to Toto in that moment? And why did Alfredo put it together for him?
Because it's like where the love started. It's like he wanted these from a kid. And it's almost like he said, I'll keep them for you. And he did keep them for him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the naughtiness of it as well, because it's like the bits they shouldn't be seeing. And it's like, Alfredo knew that he wasn't... He had to cut them out. He probably wasn't his choice. If it was his choice, he probably would have left them in. But
yes,
and then that's the missing pieces at the end put together.
I kind of like David Lynch. I always feel like I have the interpretation nailed down, but then something makes me think, well, maybe it's not that. But like, ultimately, all of those things are moments that were cut out of films, but they were like moments that were therefore cut out of his life by him staying in that town. He was succumbing to a life that would always be missing pieces. That's why Alfredo's whole thing was, you have to go out into the world and find the missing pieces. You're not going to find them here. You need to go out and discover things. You need to go to a big city. You need to forge your own path, and then you will find the missing pieces. So I think at that moment, when Toto sees all of that lined up, stacked up, bang, 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 one after another, it's his final understanding of exactly why Alfredo sent him away, and his final sort of like, now I get it. Although I left my heart here a little bit, I understand why I had to go away. It's almost like for the last 20, 30 years, however long it had been, he'd gone to Rome and he'd been doing the thing, but he'd almost been going through the motions a little bit. Like, he was a very successful director, but he's not able to give his whole self to this new life. But then the ironic thing, this is the thing that makes me think the other way. The ironic thing is the clips that are being shown are all kisses, emotion, love, which is exactly what is missing from his life now. He has everything but those moments. And it's
almost like a fuck you to Toto. It's like, look, this is what you're missing.
Imagine Alfredo did that. This was my game. Love
Game
was waiting
over.
for me. Game over. Yeah. So Alfredo rises from the grave and peels his blind stuff off. Oh shit! Imagine. This is Saw 9. So clever. We made it 20 years before the first one.
See, that is the reason why I'm struggling. It's because, as you say, it's like the missing pieces. This is the missing pieces that you went to find the stuff that was missing from your life that you couldn't get in this town. But he's gone away and he's still missing the important things in life. And it is the important things in life, which is love. Love is more important than being in a good position in your life. And he doesn't get that love. So what is it really trying to say that? Like, this is the missing pieces, which is all to do with love.
You can also might ask, is superficial love? Actors and actresses kissing in films aren't always... There's not be love behind it. They've been told to act, isn't it? And that's always what his love life is. He just meets up with a girl, and they have their thing for a bit, and then they move on again. It's almost like the actress and actress in the film.
But then that wouldn't explain why Alfredo would give it to him.
I just think he gave it to him because it's like it's like where it all started.
Yeah,
full circle.
Yeah, it's true. Here's all. Yeah, like it works on two levels.
I don't think you should deep it as much as you two are deep in it.
Mate, absolutely you should.
Yeah,
absolutely you should.
I just feel like
there's always a moral.
Meaning.
There is always a moral to a story, and this is where the moral lies, 100%.
Whatever it is, they represent something that's been cut out and missing. And I think the beautiful enigma of it is that it works two ways. Alfredo probably thought, because Alfredo's not fucking psychic. He may be blind, but he hasn't got the sixth sense. He's put together this reel of film, and he believes it's like saying, here's all the missing pieces. You went out and you found them. And Toto, living a totally different experience from Alfredo, living in the big wide world, he's now a grown man. If he could have the conversation with Alfredo, he would go back and say, yeah, I found a bunch of missing pieces, but then I lost some of my own along the way.
And then get the full picture.
Yes. Yeah. There's something for everyone. And that's not to say that Alfredo was wrong to send him away, but it's like if you go for one thing, if you think you're going to find everything somewhere, you may not. You won't find everything in some place. And that's why the nostalgia of returning to that place means so much, because it's like, you know what it is with nostalgia, boys, regardless, whether it's certain specific memories with people or childhood or whatever, nostalgia is much, much stronger than the actual thing itself.
Yeah.
The idea of what you went through is strong, but if you could be told, all right, go back and do it again, or you can go back to that situation or that person or that place, you'd probably say, if you're being honest, you'd probably go, no. I think, for me, it's hopeful that Toto will learn from that. Now, having seen all that, the laughing, he sort of like puts his hands behind his head, he's laughing. It's like, oh man, I understand. This is like nostalgia from all those clips back then. Plus, you thought I was going to go and find this. I haven't, but the fact that I can see that you were kind of wrong about finding everything out in the world means that I can probably find it now myself.
Mm-hmm. But I think that the actual real beautiful thing about that end scene is that it's basically this man paying tribute to him from what he loved as a child. He's literally just made him a film of something that he was so passionate about as a kid, and he's all like, oh, look, it's just a sentiment. It's just like a beautiful sentiment that he's done for him.
That's where the tears came from.
Yeah, it's true. I love it. With the swell of the music, the visuals, all of it, it's perfect.
Mm.
It's a perfect fucking film with one of the best endings.
So are you saying in the director's cut, does he meet her after this scene, or is this the end scene?
No, that's the end scene still, because that's him back at Rome. He meets her in Thingy, and I can't remember all the details of it, but he definitely doesn't return to Rome with her or anything like that, I found love, but I think it's just meant to add to the nostalgia factor, and it kind of changes interpretation of a lot of things, because if she did return to that town, it means that, that whole 99 nights and walking away on the 100th one, it means she did come out on the 100th one to meet him halfway, so it kind of changes that interpretation.
Yeah, it changes that interpretation. But I think it also changes the interpretation of the ending as well. It's almost like he's found her again, and this is the missing pieces of the love.
And they were there in that little place in Sicily.
Yeah.
It's so fucking beautiful, man. I've never been to Sicily. I want to go. I know it don't look like that, but there are places. That's Mafia Town as well.
Mafiosa.
It is Mafia Town, that is. Well, I'm very, very happy that both of you loved it so. I was a bit worried when we gave it all positive scores at the top. I thought we'd have nothing to talk about, but we did. And the final thing,
there's a couple of things, actually.
Yes.
How do we feel about the killing of the bull?
I don't remember any bull being killed.
That's what he films. It's the first thing he films.
Yeah, the bull gets stabbed up.
It's just one of those things, isn't it? It's like, just life, isn't it? He's just filming what's going on.
Yeah,
it was a real kill, though. It was a real kill.
It was a real kill in real life?
Yeah, I read it up.
Well,
yeah, and I imagine they probably killed it and gave it to the people of the village. I don't imagine they just killed it and left it on the side.
Oh, you are hopeful.
I mean, I don't like it when that happens.
They had to stand it back up again and get another shot.
I obviously don't like that shit, but
it's just the times, isn't it? They used to do that back in the day.
It's right on the border of not being acceptable, but being, okay, it was back then, so they were doing things differently.
Mm-hmm. Sorry that I've just basically brought this up at the end of the film. We ended on a happy note.
I know.
Talk about killing a bull.
Maybe the bull finds love on the other side.
Yeah. Maybe another bull sends him all these cinema clips of bulls butting heads and rubbing horns.
Maybe.
It's also a really relevant film for right now, like literally right now, where cinemas have had to shut down again and are about to probably... So at the time that he made this film, the director, Giuseppe, whatever his name is, excuse me, He made it because he believed that cinemas were dying. Then he thought cinemas will no longer exist. Little did he know they would go on for another 30 years, obviously just in a very different way.
What was it like watching this in the cinema, Ben?
Loved it. It was beautiful. It felt.
Were people involved with the film? Was it?
No, fortunately, because I do, regardless of how good the film is, I like it if an audience shut the fuck up. And
yeah, but you know,
for
when
the most
people,
part, they did.
like when I went to see like Lahane, people they're respecting the film, but when people are laughing, everyone's laughing.
Yeah, people
like,
were laughing.
That cinema experience comes through, and everyone there loves the film, so everyone there's have to have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, there was that, and you know, like, I did see it about a week before we got into this whole shutdown thing again, and we're in the middle of fucking pandemic, so it wasn't packed by any stretch of the imagination, and everyone's masked up, so it's still a weird way to see it, but it was nice. It felt like a really good, felt like my best ever viewing of the film, and that, a lot to do was seeing it on that huge screen with that fantastic sound in like a darkened room. Nothing will ever replace that, and the more that we try and get our living rooms to replace that, the sadder it gets in the grand scheme of things, but it is more convenient. And for cinema lovers, for movie lovers, it's a bit of a dilemma, because you want to see lots and lots of movies, much more than the average Joe, and it ends up being the average Joe who goes to the cinema, but probably not at all.
If you were really rich, would you have a cinema room in your house?
Yes, definitely, without question.
100%.
But you could never capture the cinema experience.
It's the cinema experience that I want. I want to sit in a darkened room with a big screen.
Yeah, but they're never as big.
Sound.
They're never as big. They're never as like. Yeah, I feel like there's something missing from it still. I feel like you say, like when you said you're trying to make your living room, you're just taking it to the next level.
Yeah, I suppose, but the idea is that you're paying it the proper respect. You're sitting in a seat. You haven't got your phone out. It's dark. You've got good sound. You're immersed in it. And like living rooms where we eat and where other stuff is and where we just sit on the couch and doss, like they're never good environments to watch things in. Like, it's very different. For example, if I watch a film in the middle of the day, that, like, you know, let's say I watch a film 11 o'clock in the morning on the sofa in my living room, I'm not getting that proper experience. However, when me and Jenny do it's movie night, and we sit down at a certain time and shut all the lights off and put something on and pay it the attention it deserves, that's like almost like a transcendent movie experience. So the next level up from that is to have your own fucking setup, pitch black, no distraction.
I've always thought it's some way you're just trying to replace it, but you're not getting that same experience.
No, you never will. Never will. I would love to continue going to the cinema. I think, sadly, and this is why it's the perfect film for now, is because this is the death of cinema now, I think, sadly.
I don't know. I still like to hope that there is still a cinema out there.
It's the independence.
I feel like, so it needs to be something, I think it needs something different. It's going to probably come more out of this. It needs to be more of an experience. It needs to come back going to the cinema. That's what's going to add to it.
Well, we're already away from going to the cinemas pre-COVID. Like, cinema numbers were down, more and more things were getting released on demand, and more people were like bootlegging.
Yeah, but shit. I feel like, if anything, this is going to make people remember what they did have more than. Well, it does. It
will to an extent, but then there's tell me if I'm speaking wrongly for you, Paul. For someone like Paul, who you didn't really like going to the cinema all that much, you're more likely now after this to go, well, I don't really need to go.
No, so it depends what film it is. I don't feel like I need to go for every film. If it's like a big event film that I'm so excited to see, then 100% cinema.
Yeah. But then see a film like this, if you got the chance to see this in a cinema, would you pay and go and drive and see this in the cinema?
Yeah, 100%. That's a different experience, because that you're also getting that kind of nostalgia, as this film is, with that watching experience as well, and it adds to that experience.
But then how do we ensure that the films that aren't big event films do financially well enough so they still get made if they don't get a cinema going audience?
It's a balance, isn't it?
But that balance isn't struck. Because the fucking cinemas had to close before lockdown. The cinemas were closing like Picture House, because all the big fucking blockbusters didn't have the balls to release their films, so it meant all the tiny independent films have to suffer, and they all have to go onto on demand, and they will not recover their fucking losses. Whereas the blockbusters will just wait it out, and up they'll come.
It's hard.
It's a wider, bigger problem with cinemas anyway, and like what people pay for.
I think this is not for us to sort out.
Adam, you are sorting it out. You are the one who's gone to the cinema more than anyone.
I've seen La Haine since, I think.
I haven't been to the cinema since Invisible Man.
I watched Invisible Man on demand, see?
Oh, when I saw Tenet.
Tenant, a man moved into the
Tenet.
flat.
It was just a documentary about Doctor Who.
And the thing that's been interesting about what cinemas have had to do because of COVID is they're putting on loads of old films in cinema, such as, like, you know, I went to see fucking Cinema Paradiso. That wouldn't have happened otherwise.
I think that is the strong thing, is people will go back for those types of films, but it needs to be a more diverse range of films,
Yes,
not just
it does,
the
yeah.
obvious ones. Like, people just let's put Star Wars on.
Yeah. But
It's
then,
like-
you know, why does someone... So not Star Wars, but like, for example, what's something... Jurassic Park. Okay. Yes, it's a big blockbuster film, but everyone knows it. Probably most people potentially own it. What is it about a cinema saying, oh, we're showing it, that makes people who own the film say, I'm going to go out and watch it nonetheless? Because they love that fucking experience.
Yeah, I would go and watch Jurassic Park in the cinema.
Yes.
Not at this present moment, but I would go watch Jurassic Park in the cinema.
I think that's one of my earliest cinema memories. That or Lion King, one of them two. Whichever came first. I think it was...
They both came out in the year I was born.
Did they?
Yeah, 94.
Oh no, Home Alone 2 was the first film I saw in the cinema. Shit, Lost in New York.
Ever?
92.
Ever?
Yeah.
You went to see a film starring Donald Trump as your first time in the cinema.
Oh, I know, dear me.
But I think my first film was what's the James Bond film? Is it Die Another Day where he's on the ice?
Yeah, it's Die Another Day. You're so young.
That's
So
like,
young.
came out,
Do you-
like 2000.
You are so young. I'll tell you a story about that one. That film was the first film I saw with one of my ex-girlfriends. The first film we went to the cinema to see, and we walked in like 5 minutes late because we were already running late, and the only seats were right in the front row. And as soon as we sat down, it was either mine or hers pocket just emptied out shitloads of coins all over the fucking floor. It made such a noise. And I remember there was loads of pound coins having to be picked up.
Oh, that is embarrassing.
Adam, that was 2002, so you were 6 as well then. No,
I probably went
No,
before
you
then,
were
but that's the first one I have an active memory of seeing.
Oh, bless. I bet you were a very noisy child in the cinema, you.
I don't think so.
You've always been very respectful when I've been in the cinema with you.
Yeah.
Paul is the noisy one.
Yeah, I shout to the screen. See, that's why I miss the times of old Italy where we could just have a laugh and joke in the cinema.
Yeah. There was too much raucous behaviour in that cinema for my liking. But they were all silent films, so it was fine. What was your
Yes.
first film memory, Paul? Come on.
The only thing I can think of is what I actually remember seeing is A Bug's Life.
Oh, shit.
So I was 8. I feel like I probably went before then, but that's the only one I
Yeah.
can remember.
Bugs, Life, Home Alone and Bond. I think that probably represents our personalities in a way. Adam likes the slick, tough guy action. Paul likes the Pixar.
And you like Donald Trump?
Yeah. I'm a Republican.
Put it this way: in your film, you had Donald Trump. In Paul's film, you had Kevin Spacey, who was in Die Another Day. That's a bit dodgy these days.
Your friend with the expensive acne. That's such a good, that's the only line I remember from that film.
Yeah. Good line.
I don't think anyone controversial is in that. What was it called, please? I'm going to find
It was
it.
controversial because Madonna had the worst soundtrack on it.
Madonna. What film was it called? Die Another Day?
Die Another Day.
Halle Berry was in it and she made Catwoman, so that's controversial. There's no one dodgy attached to it. How annoying. Anyway, we are well off topic.
Well off.
Yes.
Let's say what characters we are.
Yeah, let's do that.
You can be baby Toto. I'll be teenage Toto, and Paul can be old Toto.
Why am I the old one?
Because you're a dad.
Is that the only reason? Not because I'm the middle child here. I'm just the old one because I'm a dad.
Yeah, that's the most responsible thing any of us have got. It's a child.
Very true. I'll have it.
And also, you are no. If Paul was anyone, he would be the one who doesn't leave the town.
I'd be the crazy man in the square. It's my square.
Yeah. You are the
Yes.
square, and I'm the rich guy who sits up top spitting on everyone else.
Oh, what a scumbag! What a
That is me,
scumbag
though.
he
That's
was.
me. That's how I feel about other people's opinions when I read them on film Twitter.
I want to be the
Just
assistant
spitting at your phone.
who worked at the cinema, who had the funny voice.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
It was all like wavy.
Who's Adam? Who's Adam in it? Oh no, Adam's definitely Toto.
He can be the cheeky little boy.
Yeah, Adam's cutie Toto.
He's got to be.
Jenny said something which I'm not sure is true. She said after this recent rewatch that Alfredo's wife was the prostitute at the back of the cinema. And I was like, no, why? Why would she? And then she was like,
I don't want that to be true.
I know,
either.
but she was like, it's because he was blind, so he lost his job, so she had to go out and make the money for them. And I obviously haven't re-seen
That
it
is
since then,
sad.
so I don't know if it is, and that is very sad.
Really?
Well, whoever has it, give it a rewatch and just check if it's the wife. Maybe not.
I hope not.
That
It was
is
a very
sad
quick
story.
scene. We only see the prostitute very quickly, but
Yeah.
that would be
Luring
sad
those
because
men in.
Alfredo's wife seemed very dignified. But
Oh,
you
and
know.
your character's the dirty man who went down and started shagging someone in the stalls.
Who? Me?
You?
No, the rich guy
You wanna
didn't
be-
shag anyone down in the stalls.
Yes, he did. He did. He
I
was
didn't
the
know
one
it was him
shagging
doing the
someone.
shagging.
It was him. He went into the stalls to go get some pussy.
There was far too much sex allowed in that cinema.
Far too much raucous behaviour. All the boys masturbating.
Ugh. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we did our average, as always, of the film. It was very easy to do. It became a 9.7, and there are only two other films that hold that holy spot on our overall score list. In top spot is Adam's pick, which was Whiplash, and in second spot is The Irishman. And we decided that Cinema Paradiso will fit just underneath that. In third spot, taking the mighty third spot from Joker. How you feel about that, Paul?
No, it's fine. I can have that.
There we go.
Toto's cute enough. I'll let him have it.
Toto will get featured on our website, so if anyone wants to look at him, then just go to the Filmbusters website.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Do we have any reviews from anyone, Paul?
Yes, Ben, we do have some reviews. We have 2 reviews from our Twitter followers, and the first one I think Adam's going to do.
Yes, this one here is from Ryan Terry. He just simply says, it's my favourite international film.
That is a shout.
That is a shout. I will have to
Does
check
anyone
if it's
know what
mine.
they're... Yeah, what is
Oh, it's
mine?
not. Lane. Lane is mine.
I think mine
yeah,
might
of course
be
it is.
City of God.
I knew,
don't know where
Adam, I
that's-
knew you were going to say City of God.
You
I've only
fucking
ever
love
seen, this is
City
the
of
thing,
God,
I've
mate.
only ever seen City of God once, and it always just sits so fondly in my mind. And
I remember
really need
liking
to watch
it, but I can't really remember
I
it.
remember loving it, I don't know.
I have my top international film, and it is Old Boy.
Okay, good
Okay.
shout. Yep.
You love a little bit of violence.
Great film. Love
A
it.
little bit of incest for him too.
I haven't seen Old Boy.
Oh,
Oh, don't
Fucking
say that.
spoiler.
Ooh, ooh, yes, sorry. Edit that bit out.
Right, and our next review is from the Movie Journey podcast, and they say a brilliant and touching film with a wonderful story that shows the progression of time from adolescence to adulthood with great use of nostalgia and reflection. An eclectic cast of characters really make the themes of love, loss, and regret shine through so well. Capped off with one of the greatest feel-good endings of all time. An absolute banger of a film. 10 out of 10.
That's an absolute banger of a review. And
I
they
agree
also
with that.
did an absolute banger of an episode on it. So you should check out
Yeah.
their episode on it too if you want a complimentary companion piece to this
But
one.
listen to this one first. Well, obviously, you got this far in the podcast, but
Yeah.
That's the Movie Journey podcast if you want to check it out.
Oh, aye. So without further ado, I think that leads on to the final thing for the episode.
which is
It
you.
does indeed.
I wonder what you're going to... Well, your last film was Jason X, wasn't it, Ben?
Last film was Jason X. And we've now done... What have we had for the last few episodes? We've had In Time, which was a bit silly. And we've had... What was your pick, Adam?
This.
Oh, yeah. What was
It
your
was
pick,
me.
Paul?
In
Killing of a-
Time, and then
Oh, yeah.
we had
In
Killing
Time,
of a Sacred
Killing of a
Deer.
Sacred Deer, Cinema Paradiso. Well, this next film has been a long time coming. It was inevitable this was going to get picked eventually. Adam, you've seen it. Paul, you have not seen it.
Ooh.
Oh, I like it.
You ain't gonna like it, boy. The film is Goal.
Goal. Oh, we're watching Goal. Okay.
Oh boy.
You are gonna welcome Santiago Munez into your life, and baby, we're gonna have a conversation about Goal.
I'm up for it, mate. I'm up for it.
I know you will be. That's the thing. You will probably quite like it, despite all the football. But I can't wait to rewatch this film. I haven't seen this film in like what feels like about 10 years.
I don't think I've seen this film in a good 5 or 6 years.
It's got to be worth the rewatch, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, let's say nothing about it and save all our conversation for the episode. Our dear American listeners, you can still watch along too, because this is like an American's idea of what it would be like if you came to England to play football.
Oh.
I think Cinema Paradiso is going to lose its spot on this one.
Cinema Paradiso is at risk. So that's what we're checking out next, people. And it'll be all football questions for the quiz next time, so brush up on your stats, Paul.
What is the offside rule?
Paul's just going to say David Seaman.
Yeah, David Seaman, Paul
David
Gascoigne, Raul from Spain.
I'm really glad that you did both enjoy it, though. That fills my heart more. It
Are you happy that
I'm in
you
good
happy
company.
that it went up in Paul's estimation?
Yes, I am. I would have like if you had like 9 is yeah, I can take 9. 8 I can't take. Do you know what I mean? If someone told you 8 for this film, you would have to go, how can it have lost 2 points? Like what are you looking for in a film then? It could only be people who go, well, I wanted some action. Surely.
They had that action when that projector blew up.
That's true. All 30
That was
seconds.
all the action you needed, dragging him down the stairs.
Super Toto, man. Toto's a superhero.
Mm.
But,
He
you
is.
know, anyone who gives it less than a 9, I don't trust. I do not trust. Let's see who
I was
gives
saying
it.
this to Dan yesterday. He gave it a 7, and I was like,
What the fuck?
How?
Dan's meant to love film.
"How do you give that film a 7?" Like,
And what did he
I don't
say?
really remember it. He can't even say what Paul said. He kind of watched ages ago, doesn't really remember it, and I think it was kind of like a placeholder. So
I don't understand how you could forget that damn film. It's so beautiful.
boy.
Well, the funny thing is, as soon as I started watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember all of this.
There's some peculiar characters on my letterbox. One person gives it 6. What strange thing.
Do you want to name and shame them?
Out there. No, I won't name and shame them.
Okay, let's wrap it up. You can get in touch with us at FilmbustersPod on Instagram and Twitter. You can go to our website, www.filmbusterspod.co.uk. We've got all our podcasts on there and some lovely reviews from us and our in-house critics. You can also get to us on our personal accounts. I'm at Filmbusters Toto.
I'm at Filmbusters Toto.
I'm at Filmbusters Toto. All the Totos. 3 Totos.
We all got the same account.
Filmbuster.